I've stopped using AI to program completely. In the past, I went over this period where I stopped using it when it comes to day-to-day work, mostly doing agentic AI coding. I stopped doing that, but more recently, in the last, let's say 2 to 3 weeks, I decided to completely stop using AI altogether. I think that in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I maybe did two questions to an AI, random stuff like a translation and something else I was searching for here in the city. But besides this, I've stopped using it completely when it comes to work, since that was most of the stuff that I was using it to do when it comes to programming. And in this video, I want to talk about the benefits that I'm seeing from it. And honestly, I felt kind of like bad not using it for the first, let's say, days mostly, and then the first week. But after a while, I just got used to it, and I'm enjoying programming a lot more like I was previous to using AI. And I also feel that I'm evolving like much faster during these couple of weeks, just because of the fact that I'm doing everything manually. Now, if you're not aware, I'm working here on a project. It is basically a learning platform that I want to build from scratch, and I'm doing a couple of things that I would consider like more advanced. I'm implementing a Git server completely from scratch, so there's no service like being used on the back end when it comes to making API calls, and I'm also not using an open source implementation. So I'm doing everything from scratch using Odin, using libgit2, and I'm basically working currently on this to be able to launch soon. And working on this project means that I need to understand a lot of details about memory management, like low-level programming, and it also means that I need to understand a lot about the protocols when it comes to HTTP, because most of the communication is going to happen over HTTP, HTTPS, and also I need to understand a lot about Git, obviously. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been exploring Git more than I ever had before. Obviously, I understood the basics of it, how it works, but now I need to implement all of this from scratch, and it's been a lot of fun. Now, one important detail is that I went over a phase where I started working on this, then I had other things like get in the way, and only now am I able to take this a bit more seriously and actually implement it. And I remember implementing similar stuff to what I'm implementing now, but with AI, and it is a completely different experience, because with AI, I experience a lot of different things. First of all, what is known, and I think there are other programmers that talk about it, which is learned helplessness. The fact that when I was using AI, and like I said, I was not even using it to the point that I was doing like AI agentic coding. I was just able to use it in the browser to chat with it, to ask it questions when I had a problem, when I didn't understand something. Just the fact that I had that ability to ask it questions meant that when I found something that was a bit more difficult to understand, my first instinct, and I didn't even realize at the time, was to just go to the AI and ask it the question. And that would have been great if the answers were good enough and if there was not the problem of hallucination. And I realized how much I was going into basically rabbit holes that led me to nowhere, led me to learn nothing at all, and basically made me think that, okay, the application or the implementation that I'm currently working on is not working on this particular part of it. We have a bug, we have something that doesn't really work exactly how we expect it to work, and now I need to figure out why. And when I went and asked the AI to give me some kind of answer, the answer would always be, and if you've ever used AI, especially for programming, you know exactly what I'm talking about, the answer would always be something random that a lot of times didn't even have anything to do with it. And if you pressed quote unquote the AI, now I know that this is not exactly how the AI works, but if you ask it 1 or 2 times, like, are you really sure that this is the exact like solution, the AI is just going to say like, no, sorry, you're right, like I was just making stuff up. And again, it's not a person, it's not a human, it's just like autocomplete in a sense. But the point here is that it just makes stuff up, even if it quote unquote admits or not, doesn't really matter. The important thing is that you have a bug, you give it the context context that you want the AI to have, and then you hope that the AI is going to guide you in a direction that is going to help you at least understand the bug, even if it doesn't like fix it for you, even if it doesn't give you the solution right away. At least it should be able to point you in the right direction and say, okay, explore this thing or explore that thing. And I realized now that I've been doing everything without AI, how much I was just being steered into completely random like side quests that had nothing to do with actually solving the real problem. Because like I said, I was implementing this exact same stuff more or less, and now I actually was able to go to the documentation, to spend a lot of time reading stuff and actually understanding everything, how it works. And that means that I'm going to be a bit slower in the beginning. Like in the first week that I was working on this, I was a bit slower, but now I'm understanding like the protocols when it comes to HTTP a lot better, especially when it comes to how Git expects those protocols to occur, how like pack files, advertisements that you need to like give to the client. All those kinds of things were things that I was asking the AI about. I was understanding on a superficial level, but I wasn't actually like understanding. And yeah, I know that I could have also went ahead and read all of those all that documentation and still use AI. But again, if you have that easy button to press, you're going to press it over and over again. And the worst part about it, at least from my point of view, is the fact that I was pressing an easy button that was giving me the wrong answers. Now, if I just use Google, if I use like DuckDuckGo, I try to search on different search engines. I always use like the minus or the dash AI to not have the AI give me any kind of ideas, not steer me into any kind of direction. Like the solutions that I arrived at were solutions that I got to because I read the documentation and I understood better where the problem might be from other people having the same problem and talking about it online, like on GitHub forums and stuff like that. So basically everything came from experience and from actually doing it and understanding it better. And just in the last couple of days, I had this occur at least 2 times where I had a bug, and after let's say a couple of hours, a day, I was able to figure out the bug. And looking back, the only reason that I was able to figure out the bug was because I understood better how, again, all of this stuff actually work when it comes to Git and to HTTP and stuff like that. So it was minor mistakes, like not adding a new line where it had to be, or like not defining the start of the header with the 2 zeros, then 01 or 000, like not adding those kinds of details inside of the response, which is part of the protocol, and not adding those things there made it like very hard for me to be able to actually implement this correctly. And the only solution that I had was to go read the documentation, go read the different protocols, the different RFCs, and understand, okay, the reason this is failing is because this is how the protocol works, this is exactly why it's happening, and those kinds of things. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not only saying this because I believe it, I'm again talking from experience. When I asked about similar problems to the AI just a couple of months ago, when I was first just giving it a try and seeing how I was able to implement this at the time in Go instead of Odin, the AI would just like throw me all over the place. And obviously that's because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was not necessarily like an expert on this particular topic, Git, at the time. I wasn't like very deep into it. But then that means that if I ask the AI about anything that is a bit outside of my area of expertise, it's just going to again start throwing me all over the place, instead of me saying, okay, I need to take a bit of time to be able to learn this, and in the end I'm going to understand it's not that complicated. Like now that I understand it, it's just, okay, I need to add 4 zeros after something, like 3 zeros and number 1 after something. So it's just a very simple protocol. Okay, so it's not rocket science, but it's about sitting down, reading stuff. Same thing with the HTTP protocol. It's not rocket science. It's like \r \n like you have the number of characters, and in this case I'm talking about like HTTP 1.1. If you want to do like chunked encoding, you have a line, you say, okay, the next line is going to have like the length in bytes is going to be 10. You do like \r\n, and then you add the content with that length, same thing, or n, and then you continue doing that to be able to like send line by line. In other words, like chunked encoding. Again, something that if I were to try to understand it through an AI, maybe the response would also be correct. Not really the case in a lot of situations, but my understanding wouldn't be that great in the first place. And I mean, it's not like, again, it's rocket science, it's something very simple. So yeah, this is basically it. It's a bit of a rant. I just wanted to like share this experience that I've been having, because like I said, I went from this period where I explored AI a lot, it was very fun. Then I stopped using it in the terminal and in the like my code editor for good, and I only use it in the chat window in the browser. And I thought, okay, it's not that harmful. I'm not really like losing a lot by only using it this way. And I thought, if I stop using AI, like I'm going to lose a lot of momentum, I'm going to be much less productive. People who have access to AI are going to be so much faster at doing something. But I think that the foundations are much more like concrete without AI, like just not using it at all. And now I simply don't miss it. And I feel like this particular project that I'm building right now is having much more like the foundations are just much better than if I were to trust the AI at certain parts of like fixing stuff, because the fixes wouldn't be coming from a point of understanding and of actually fixing the issue that is happening, and instead it would have been maybe like monkey patching, doing something here and there to maybe try to fix it without actually understanding the real issue. So yeah, I'm going to maybe talk a bit more about this in the future, but I just again wanted to share my thoughts about it. And let me also know in the comments down below if you've been using AI at all in the last like period of time, because just like was an amazing experience for me to realize that if I use it like zero, not at all, I'm not only still able to perform very well when it comes to programming, but I'm actually able to do things at a level that I wasn't able to do in a long time, more specifically after I started using AI. So yeah, this is it. Hopefully this video was helpful to you, and I'll see you on the next one.